All right, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Man, I'm so excited to be on the air tonight. This is QuakeRadio.com live with your man Orlando Presents. And man, we got a special guest that's going to be calling in momentarily. So I'm really excited about this, man. Definitely excited about it. So, yeah, if y'all been paying attention to the flyers and things of that nature, the group that's calling in is actually Rusty Shipp. They have a awesome album that's out right now called Dark Side of the Ocean. So we're gonna be sitting down speaking to them about that, and then also just chopping it up a little bit. You know how it is, you know, chop it up a little bit. So we
Unknown caller.
hello.
Ahoy, Rusty.
Yes. How you doing?
We are doing quite amazing.
Swimmingly.
Quite
Yes.
swimming.
Man, first and foremost, welcome y'all. Also, thank you very much for your time. Definitely, it's an honor to get y'all to have y'all on. First, I gotta let y'all know, man. Unfortunately, my partner, Mr. Captain J, wasn't feeling too well in the throat, so he had to sit out. But he's probably listening right now. So definitely, shout out to my bro, Captain J, with Quake. So definitely. Yeah, man, we're just gonna jump on into it and chop it up a little bit. Y'all have an awesome album out right now called Dark Side of the Ocean. Man, I mean, first and foremost, for the folks that may not know of Rusty Shipp, and I'm not really familiar 100%, so this is really exciting for me. Let the folks know, how did y'all come about? How did y'all come together as a group?
Well, we're just I was sailing my boat and passing by. I realized there was a really handsome guy on the beach, and I was like, dude, you play drum? Well, I'm like trying to get a band started in my on my ship, my Rusty Ship. So he was like, "Yeah, I'll start a band. What do you want to? You want this music to sound like? How about nautical rock and roll?" So I said, "Hey, brother, let's go." That's where everything started from that point. And then, as we kind of sailed on our journey, we gradually found different band members to join our crew, and they came aboard, and we got Mr. Douglas Webster over here on the bass, and then Mr. Dave Goodjet.
Yeah, I was gonna see how you were gonna pronounce that. Close enough. I get it wrong 4 times a day.
He plays the foghorn.
Yeah.
So the lineup was complete, and then got Davy Jones with the sick lead guitar.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Hey, okay, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, we're 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 kind of underground a little bit, so
Okay.
bad
So you're
reception.
you're inside the Rusty Ship right now. So
Yeah, that's the problem. Well, hold on, try to go a little closer to the surface.
Okay, hopefully that's better.
Okay. I love the sound effects.
Next, just gonna be us making ocean mountains.
Yeah, that's the next album.
That'd be fantastic.
Of the sea.
Oh wow.
I love to have fun. So
Yeah.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Definitely, especially when you're in a band, you have to be able to have fun with the people who you're in the band with. And I mean,
Absolutely.
it'll be stressful if not. Um, I know you named everybody, but you were breaking up a little bit. So if you can name everybody again, so folks can know exactly who's on the line.
My name is Rusty Shipp.
And I'm AJ Newton, and I play drums.
I'm Dave Gaida on guitar.
Doug Work on bass.
All right, fantastic. Now, I know the band is named after Rusty and everything, and when you all come together, who is the primary person that does the songwriting and the different yeah, I guess the songwriting for the band? Do y'all come together and do it, or is it just one particular person?
Most of the time, most I do the songwriting. Me, Rusty Shipp. I do most of the songwriting. Probably 1% of it, I'd say.
Songwriting. Mostly 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's still breaking up just a little bit because every time Rusty says something, it chops up a little bit, but that's okay. We'll make it work. We'll definitely make it work.
Voice is that when he speaks, even if you're not over the phone, it just breaks up constantly.
All right. So what was the concept of Dark Side of the Ocean? Because I actually love the artwork and everything on the front of it and on the cover and stuff. So what was the concept of that?
Well, this album is telling a story, and the story is basically that there is this sailor who basically drowned in the sea. And as he's sinking down, his body's sinking down, it keeps sinking further and further down into the ocean. And as he sinks, his soul actually separates from his body. And his soul descends even further and further into the darkest side of the ocean. And where he's there at the bottom of the ocean, he sees things that mankind has never discovered before, in the parts where mankind has never been. And some of the weird things that he sees undiscovered sea monsters down there. Such monsters as the Kraken and the Leviathan. And since he's a soul, he also sees other souls in the ocean, souls of sailors who have long since been deceased. And it gets even weirder because then he sees underwater sea angels. And these sea angels are going around collecting the souls of men that have drowned and have sunk into the bottom of the sea. And they take these souls, they bring them to the water and kingdom, which is ruled by a king archangel of the ocean, which mankind calls Poseidon or Neptune. So that's the general thrust of the concept behind the album.
Wow. And Rusty, you came up with that concept yourself, or was that a collective?
It was all in my brain.
Wow. That is awesome. I like that. I like the concept of the album and everything. I know Captain J is not here, but he did have some questions, so he had prepared before I knew he wasn't going to be here. So first question was, what bands influenced your style?
That's a variety pack of answers there, but probably the first, the Beatles. That's always been a big inspiration towards us.
And then just a lot of modern hard rock bands and classic rock bands. I liked a lot of classic rock bands.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And I mean, I don't think you can have anything with a nautical or surfy sound without giving tribute to, greats like Dick Dale, the Ventures, those guys from the 50s that were doing that really guitar heavy surf music.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I love your sound. I mean, I was sitting here listening to the album, and of course, we play a couple of the tracks on the station, and I just sit there and like, man, it sounds so crisp and clean and professional. Of course, you would sound that like that, but some bands don't have that gelled sound together. So, how long have you all been together?
Well, Rusty Ship, I started this band and our first show ever was 2014.
Mm.
And we actually through several different band members over time, but AJ over here on drums, you've been with us like about
Since
15 years.
since the beginning of 2017. January of 2017 is when I met Rusty, and so a little over about 6 years now.
Yeah, about
That we've been playing together. And Doug and Russ have actually been friends for quite a while here, and then he came in earlier this year. What was it, March? Around March of 22, Doug started with us, and then shortly after that's when Dave came on. And Dave actually used to be in a fantastic band of his own called Clash of the Tritones.
Oh, thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, and we had played some shows times in the past because they're a premier surf rock band here in Nashville. And we thought immediately when he found out we were looking for a lead guitarist that he'd be an amazing, as he's playing surf rock as well himself. So that's the lineup for the 22 year.
Okay. Awesome. Now, the other question that Captain J had: have you ever been at an event or a show and you were just taken aback in awe about what God has done?
Yes. Recently, probably we played Kingdom Come Festival this year, and it kind of it was a privilege because we've been trying to get to play Kingdom Come Festival for years. They added a third night. They added a kickoff night, so we got a chance to finally go and play that kickoff night. And I'm from Indiana. That show was in Indiana, so was Doug. We're both from Indiana, so it was fun to get to go back home, so to speak, and play like a home show. But what I thought floored me was how many people had traveled from so far to see us. I remember having a conversation at the merch stand with a kid who said that as soon as he saw that we were on that bill, he bought a plane ticket from Arizona and flew out by himself just to see us play.
Wow.
And that fine because he felt like what we're doing is so important that he wanted to like support us. So and also too that night we were selling merch until the security guys kicked us out of the venue. We were there until almost 2 o'clock. They were like, "You got to leave. We got to lock up and get ready the next day." So that was a really cool show to play. It was really neat to meet so many people from so far away that had traveled to see us. So it was humbling. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm so glad that I didn't know any of that before we went on stage because that was my first show ever with the ship.
Was, yeah.
And I was already like, okay, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. I hadn't known yet. Like, yeah, hey, I bought a plane ticket from Arizona. No pressure. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, I could say that would make me put me in an awe moment, definitely. So, man, that's exciting. That's really exciting. Shoot. So, how has the album been perceived? How has it been accepted? Have you been getting a lot of positive reviews? And do you actually remember any of the reviews that you get and you say, oh man, this person said that this album, did this for them in their life, or any of the albums or any of your songs?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people give us some pretty good raving reviews. Off of the record, it's garnered our first 2 top 10 hits ever. So we were really, really excited about that. With Bottom of the Barrel, it hit number 6 on Christian Music Weekly's National Rock Chart. And then our single, What's Crackin', hit number 9. So that was a really cool accomplishment that we had never hit before. So that was fantastic. But yeah, since the album just came out at the end of October, we've had a lot of reviews come out. Um, man, recently we had some people actually reach actually help jail. So you love hearing those kind of stories because it's helped pull some people out of some dark times. But
Yeah. It was cool because there's a radio show called The Antidote with Dave Hawkins,
Mhm.
oh yeah,
and he interviewed us. He said, you know, this doesn't happen very often but I listened to your album 12 times before
Mm.
I got the album heard all year.
yeah,
And then he said, guys, there's only one problem with this album is you have made the perfect album. How do you follow up that? So that's quite the compliment.
Hey, I think for me, one thing as you know, watching the reviews and seeing people reach out is the variety.
Mhm.
Everybody from people that we know personally, like our friend Guillermo put it as his number 2 album of the entire year.
Yeah,
Up there on the list with bands like Tears for Fears.
yeah,
Oh wow.
Yeah. But then to see us on, you know, legendary publications like Jesus Freak Hideout, and seeing that broad spectrum of outlets, both official and unofficial, both personal and corporate, has just been astonishing.
Mhm.
Mm.
Been
Awesome.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I'm pretty sure it has been. So the next question is, with all the success and everything that you all have had so far, especially with this album with other tracks, how do you all keep each other humble?
We insult each other constantly.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So, as a band and everything, do you all ever have like a band Bible study together or different things of that nature to try to keep yourselves focused on what you're doing in your walk?
We do talk quite a bit about the mission of our band to help us, kind of like a bullseye. You got to be aiming at something constantly.
Yeah, and I would say that we do a lot of talking about that kind of stuff, especially when we're on long trips together.
Mhm.
Going to get a lot of time to talk, and so we get a chance to talk about what are we really trying to do in this band, and this band, but we certainly don't have everything figured out, and we're trying all the more every day to hone in on our mission and just make the world a better place through a quirky nautical rock and roll band. And that is something that we're just trying more and more and more to hone in on and do better and figure out better and just do a better job of making a bigger impact with people.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, how do you work out now? Are you all full time?
Um, what you mean by full time? Like, I mean, we do come up for air sometimes.
Well, full time musicians. Do you?
Oh,
Is this your regular job? This is how you make a living?
this is my regular job, but I don't make a complete living from it.
Mhm. Yeah, and we're all that way because uh, it's getting increasingly a little bit more difficult to just make a full-time living as a musician. But luckily enough, we all have jobs that are flexible enough that we can still pursue this, and you know we can keep tackling what we want to tackle. And we've been lucky, we've been blessed because especially coming out of the pandemic, there was a lot of bands we used to run around with that gave up. That either financially they couldn't keep going, or maybe they just had some time for introspection. And after COVID hit, they took 2 years off, and they didn't want to pursue it anymore. But Rusty and I, we spent those 2 years writing really, really quality music and getting in and recording this album because we couldn't tour. So we were like, hey, we're going to go do this instead, and really take time and really put out some of the best music that I think we've ever released that we're very, very proud of. and regroup. And then, this past year has been great because we've been able to get back on the road, and we added Doug, we added Dave. We've been having a lot of fun with it, and it's been a very positive experience.
And then on top of that, yeah, we have day jobs, because you kind of have to in this economy.
Yeah.
But it makes it.
You have more of a night job.
We don't talk about what Dave does for work.
I sling lobsters.
I do that for fun.
It's
No.
dinner time of the year.
Yeah. But it makes it so that, when people go online and they buy our merch from the website or they buy the physical media, it's so impactful to us, the absolute world to us, because that's, as much as we love getting out and playing shows and everything, that's a lot of what makes that possible. What makes the albums continue to happen, what makes it all a reality.
Yeah. Rusty used to say it's putting coal in the burners, in the boiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's true. We've been lucky because we have a really loyal fan base that has been very dedicated in helping us out, because they want to see us succeed. They want to see us staying alive. They want to see us go ahead and come back to their town or the city so that we can play shows for them again. So we've been blessed. Yeah.
Well, not all. Pretty sure loyal fans fight.
Maybe.
How hard we crash and burn. And that'd be great.
So the nautical, way of doing the music and setting up the album, things of that nature, where did that establish? What interests you into going that direction?
A lot of it had to do with when I started this band. This is Rusty speaking.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the early days. We were throwing around band names, and people in the band were just like, you know what? Why in the world would we not call ourselves Rusty Shipp when you have such a cool name like Rusty Shipp? So we called ourselves Rusty Shipp, which was kind of a play on words of my name. And then as we progressed, we're like, well, what should this band sound like? Well, let's try to make it sound like a rusty ship.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're like, well, what does that sound like? Well, it sounds kind of like it's underwater, but it's rusty, so it's like grungy and
Yes.
and has barnacles on it. So that's kind of what started it. So we've been trying to make music that just more and more sounds just like that.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I definitely like the sound and everything. I like the band. I like how you all present yourselves. I was looking at a couple of your videos before the show as well. So I do, how it's put together and everything and how it's packaged. So that was very cool. Very cool. So far as musicians, what is your background? Have any of you been like trained on your instruments, or is it something that you just picked it up far as play by ear, or do you have any classical training, anything of that nature?
I had classical guitar training, and
I've been for 32 years now. I started at 7, so I did like I studied. I was in college. I even took like music theory classes and some other types of musical classes. But a lot of what I it's improv from things that I've learned in the past, and I try to play to the song, if that makes sense too. But
So I played guitar for 20 years, and I actually was a guitar major for my first 2 years of college, trying to do the professional guitar thing, and I hated it with a. Actually, I was going to say with passion, but no, actually the opposite, because it sucked all the joy and passion that I had for the instrument out of me, to the point that I put the guitar down and didn't touch it again for another 2 years.
okay.
But mostly self-taught, and yeah. Probably that was learning theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Doug. I've been playing bass for about 20 years as well. I also have a music minor from college, so I studied some theory and all in addition to that. And also in the past, I played with the bands Autumn's Descent and The Lesser. So shout out to the
Doug's been playing bass for 20 years. His fingers are exhausted.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
So how did any of you have family, and if so, how do you work your schedule around, making sure you have time with your family and also being on the road, things of that nature?
It's challenging. I don't know. I haven't figured out a good way to do it yet, honestly. I've only had a family for a year and a half. Yes, still figuring out how to balance family and being out there. It's still pretty new for me. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
But my family's really supportive. I've actually got stepkids, so they kind of knew what they were getting into when they married me.
Mm-hmm. No, this is AJ. So I'm married. My wife, Maria, always very supportive of me in my musical endeavors. So she's kind of like my biggest cheerleader. She's been 1,000% in with me this entire journey with Rusty Shipp. So
Yeah, I'm fortunate. My wife and kids are supportive of me as a musician. It's to the point that my youngest son, uh, he hears an electric guitar and he immediately falls asleep because it sounds like dad playing. It's adorable. Yeah, no, they're very supportive. And it's nice that, even as we're looking at getting on the road more in 2023, it's not like we're gone every weekend. We're not one of the bands that you hear about playing like 500 gigs in a year.
Yeah.
Those, yeah, right? The Grateful Dead touring schedule or whatever.
yeah, try to balance it out.
So,
just 250.
right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of time away, but it's not constant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I sometimes I wonder about that, as far as with bands and everything and their family, because you're going away and coming back and things of that nature. So definitely wonder about that. It's cool that a lot of you have that support, because if you didn't, then I guess it would be a whole lot. It would be stressful trying to do what you're doing, but yet the home is not supportive of you being gone and playing your music and doing what you love to do. So
My biggest,
go ahead.
if anyone is looking to get a relationship with a musician, know what you are getting into head first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like the most expensive, time-consuming hobby that will most lead to just sleeping in a tent constantly.
You can say that again. I guess that's why I'm single. I'm not a musician, but just doing the radio show and different things of that nature takes up a lot of my time, especially with my job and things of that nature or whatever. So yeah, you're right. Have to have a special person that wants to put up with that.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Musicians are objectively sexy.
Say that again.
Oh, you don't want me to.
Thank
Yeah, we're good.
Well, yeah, I didn't hear any of that, so
That's
okay. We're just goofing off again.
oh, it's all good. It's all good. Definitely. So, between you all, who is the best cook and who is the worst cook? And have you ever had a situation whereas you came together and you were just breaking bread and you were like looking at each other like, what is this? What did they prepare?
Mm.
Well, AJ actually his work at a lobster.
I capture lobsters here in Nashville, in landlocked
job.
That's my job. I dig up dirt for lobsters, and I just they get caged correctly. And
But he's actually, it's funny because AJ's actually, he's actually a really good chef.
mhm.
And it's funny because drums, the way he plays it, he looks like the Swedish chef on the Muppets. That's not a joke. So we actually, his nickname in the band is Chef.
Yeah.
AJ's nickname is Chef. Because
Yes.
not only is he good at cooking lobsters, but he acts like the chef, the Swedish chef from the Muppets when he plays drums.
Yep. Sometimes I break out wooden spoons and play on pots and pans just like him.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be up on stage and walk. Pork, pork, pork.
Wow. Wow.
I enjoy cooking. In all actuality, it is one of my favorite pastimes.
Okay. Okay.
I-
Awesome.
For me by Doug or Dave yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's on my bucket list to see what you gentlemen can cook up.
Alfred.
Did you?
Hey,
Okay.
see, we know.
I want to eat your shrimp right now.
Come on over.
All right.
Can I get that invite too? I'm gonna try some of that too.
More than open it. Yes. Yes.
So, that's
What's
not
the
true.
problem?
I guess that's not true.
Green door on the sub. Will we go down?
Hinges are so rusty. Doors shut.
Yep. We can't close the hatches.
It stinks in here. Open the window.
Yeah. Oh my.
I know 2023 is coming around really fast, and you all we're talking about you're going to be touring, doing different things. Are there any city and dates that you can share with the folks today that you have locked in so people can get ready for it, or is it something that you all are still working out your 2023 manifestos?
Right now, all the dates are being solidified. So the best advice I could say is that listeners follow along on our Facebook page, on Rusty Shipp's Facebook page, because the events section on there, whenever we add a show, we add it on there first so that everybody get alerted to it. There are a handful that are getting locked up right now. So I can imagine very soon those dates will start being solidified on our calendar.
Okay. Awesome. Man, so between each one of you, you have the brand new album out. What is the best album between each one of you?
Oh, that's a tough question.
I like them.
Yeah, I love them all. Different reasons.
AJ, they're not kids. You don't have to lie.
Rusty speaking. I think my favorite song on the album is probably Living Waters.
You took my answer. I was going to say Living Waters.
I
Probably
actually
listen-
love that song.
I think for me, I would actually say King of the Deep, because there's so much going on with that, and when it kicks in, it just rocks.
Yeah.
And it's like it's got the. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna change my answer right now. I'm and Myth Legend,
That's a
because
fun
that
song.
guitar line is an absolute blast to play.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about you, Doug? Do you have any come to mind?
Angel Aquarium, maybe.
I'm trying to think. One of my favorites is actually just the interlude after is it the bottom of the barrel.
Oh,
Just
what
yeah.
what
blows
blows up must come down
Living Waters.
after Living Waters?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's
Okay.
Really, you like that interlude?
That's a fun
It's fun,
interlude.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, but that's cool. Like
It's a fun one. Yeah.
pretty complex. The notes involved.
Yeah.
Sending fret by fret. That's a rock interlude.
I bet you if you had asked us next week the same question, we'd have different answers. Because I always Rusty, it depends on the day, depends on the week, because I'll listen to this album over and over again, like I did. and I'll still change my mind. Just depends on what mood I'm in that week.
Although Us and Them could be the greatest song I ever wrote.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I can see that. I can definitely see
Yeah,
you changing your answer, things of that nature. Definitely on that. Um, so is there any behind the scenes adventures that may have happened with any of the recordings of the songs on the album, like a nice story on how the song was made that you may be able to share?
Well, we've got a ton of adventure stories about how the album was made, but I don't know that any of them are nice. That's the problem. I wrote JesusFreakHideout.com just week. I wrote like basically a write up of my experience. Yeah. By the way, if anybody listening to this wants to get a full readout on what it was like in the studio, you can go check it out on JesusFreakHideout.com. I think it's still up on the homepage. But it was an interesting experience because it was in the middle of the pandemic still. We recorded it in February 2021. And so it was a really challenging experience because, like we said, Doug and Dave are new members of the band. And the guys we had in the band earlier, basically because of the pandemic, it just changed every situation. And people had to move and stuff in the band, and it was tough. Some people couldn't get into the recording studio, so we had to do a lot of improv while we were in the studio because we were having a lot of there. And then I ended up while I was there. So I was living at the studio, eating, sleeping, and drinking the album from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. And then it was kind of a brutal experience, just kind of being trapped in a recording studio, recording without a break for a solid month. And then the final week in the studio, I actually got COVID while I was in the studio, and I was feeling sick as a dog. And so when you're listening to the song Bottom of the Barrel, and you hear me singing that chorus, just think of me completely sick as a dog with COVID singing that line, because that's exactly what was happening at that moment.
Oh man. Now that's something that a lot of people probably wouldn't have known about unless they asked or different things of that nature. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, just letting you know we are on QuakeRadio.com sitting down with Rusty Shipp. Make sure you go out and check out their brand new album, Dark Side of the Ocean. It's a banger from beginning to end. Let the folks know about your social media tags and things of that nature so that they can go out and purchase your album and support you.
Yep. Us, Rusty Shipp Band on Instagram, Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube, and you can also purchase merch and the physical album, Dark Side of the Ocean, through our store at RustyShipp.com. That's Rusty Shipp with 2 P's.com.
All right. Awesome. Are there any other bands that you all usually frequently tour with or go out with, or do you just usually go out solo and be the headliners and everything?
The funny thing about being in Nashville is you make connections. And I'm kind of speaking here, it's Dave, because that's how I ended up getting the band. Sure. Is because we play shows together. And Russ and AJ can talk a lot more about this, Rusty Shipp historically, but it's a great thing about this city is how much interconnectivity there is. Everybody knows everybody in a dozen other bands around town, and it's really fantastic having that community.
Yeah, that we start playing kind of the same Christian rock festivals almost every year, so you kind of start to see the same familiar faces again. With you kind of hang out in the same circle within the Christian rock world. So it's always fun, going to audio feed and seeing some old friends, our friends in Ravenhill. We got really, really close with those guys in Ravenhill for quite a long time now.
Yeah, we did a tour with them.
Yeah,
That was great.
that was a lot of fun.
And then
We need to do it again.
And then it was funny because the first few years of Rusty Shipp's career, I mean, we didn't play any Christian festivals or with any other Christian bands. And I mean, the lyrics were Christian and everything, but we were just kind of a band just making music, and I was writing stuff that I was just I was passionate about, and I was a Christian, but I wasn't necessarily trying to target a Christian demographic per se. So I was just kind of, in the early days, we were just playing shows wherever and whatever local bars with whatever local Nashville indie rock bands. And we still have great relationships with a lot of those bands. And at our album release show we just did, we played with some of our good friends from a local Nashville indie rock band called Them Fixes. And so we still have those connections with a lot of those bands from the local Nashville rock station 102.9 The Buzz, and a lot of the bands that got played on 102.9 The Buzz we're kind of tight with them still.
Okay, cool. Are there any bands that are coming up, like basically coming up under you, or that you can suggest or say, hey, look out for this band, or any bands that may look at you all as mentors?
What was that band's name? Skillet?
Skillet? Yeah, Skillet.
I've started to hear some buzz about talk.
Creed, DC Talk. No, they met at the Kingdom Come Festival. Was it Matt Sassano?
I don't know.
I forget Matt's. I can never pronounce
Matt Moore.
No, it's Matt Sassano, I think is his name. He's had some really good hits because I've seen his name on the charts with us too. And
Are we his mentor?
yeah. And then I've kind of befriended some people from what's their name? Fuel for Soul.
Oh yeah.
Those guys have been doing really good too. So they're out there, but
We do talk to a lot of bands just on Facebook and stuff, and we trade secrets,
trade secrets,
trade tricks of the trade
Yeah.
secrets.
Be willing. Worse.
So and it's been a weird dichotomy of things that I've seen in the past year, because we've seen bands break up that have been around. Some of them longer than us. I think recently it was Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh.
Did it break up?
They split up because two of the girls went to do something else, and then the third girl is now doing a solo career by herself.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they put a video up about like 2-3 weeks ago. So they're done, and I remember them when they were on like Rockfest Records, and they were playing some pretty big festivals and everything. And now it's just, I think one of the girls is going on to be a solo artist by themselves, and the other two are one's doing a podcast, one's doing something else, if I remember correctly.
Well, what are we gonna get Jesus for his birthday?
Oh, good question.
I guess just obedience.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay, but I feel like it would be a nice.
Well, I just want to say once again, man, thank y'all for your time. Thank y'all for coming on and everything. Also, Merry Christmas to y'all. Since you did mention it, I am going to mention it as well. Merry Christmas to you all and your families. So I hope y'all have a great new year. I hope everything that you all are striving for, praying for, within the band and outside of the band with your families, come to fruition for 2023. I'll just say that you're an awesome band. I like your sound. I really do. I like the camaraderie that you all have and everything. So I hope that you all stay together for a long time so we can have some more great music, to rock out to and to listen to.
Thank you. Yeah, and Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. We really appreciate you having us on. Thank you so much.
And for what it's worth, not just you and your family, but also your listeners. Yeah.
Yes.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas, happy holidays to all of them.
Merry nautical Christmas to everybody.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, fellas. Y'all have a great night.
You too.
All right,
Take
cheers,
care.
Fernando.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.
See ya.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go, Rusty Shipp. Man, make sure y'all go out and check out their album. I'm serious, their album is banging from beginning to end. Their album is Darker Side of the Ocean once again, so make sure you go out and show some support, man. This group is really great. I mean, the camaraderie, as you can tell, far as listening to them, sounds like they've been together a whole lot longer than what they have been. So I'm excited about helping them push their music even further through the station here at QuakeRadio.com, Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. Myself, Captain J, we really appreciate them coming on. So y'all have a peaceful night. And, man, tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on QuakeRadio.com. Got another hot show for y'all. All right? Peace.